What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with the bets that I'm looking at so far for UFC Vegas 87 Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. Now, first things first, as always, please hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new, or if you just haven't yet. Also, turn on those notifications so you know when my videos come out, when our live streams are, and any other content that shows up. And leave some comments below on your favorite fights this week if you have any, how well you did at UFC Mexico, and check out the Patreon at patreon.com/JohnnyKpicks. I have all my bets out there, all of my cheat sheets that I use to make my bets. I give them to all the core members, $5.99 a month. I also do like soccer bets, NBA bets from time to time here and there too. So if you're into that, cool beans, and check it out. You can also become a free member there too. So definitely go over there and check that out. So last night was fun at UFC Mexico. We had a little bit of craziness here and there, but if we didn't have any craziness in Mexico, then I don't know what we were going to have. Let's put it that way. So let's go over this real quick. The Nurmagomedov Silva fight, I mean, that ended in 44 seconds with Silva injuring his leg. Unfortunate, but Nurmagomedov did cover that minus 550 price tag, so got to give him that. He looked great. Someone who didn't cover their price tag was Dos Santos beating Altamirano here. I'll admit I had a Dos Santos bet and I thought he lost. So crazy scorecards. Would you call it a robbery? I've seen worse. So we'll move on up to the next one. Rodriguez versus Bondar. I think Bondar is a fraud, and I know he probably gassed out because of the elevation. He did look pretty good in the first round, laying some bombs on Rodriguez, but Rodriguez had the chin to back it up, and he had the cardio. It's almost like he knew he wanted to survive the first round because he was going to turn it up on the second and third. So good win from Rodriguez. I'm just not sold on Bondar, and that's why I had a little bet on Rodriguez at plus money. Zahabi versus Puelles. I thought Puelles won, and I'm sorry, I thought Zahabi won that fight. I don't know why it went to split decision. I thought it was a pretty clear 29-28, but right person won that fight, and we move on because it wasn't that fun. Chara finally got the submission that he deserved from the first fight, so good win from him. We all knew this fight wasn't going to go over 1.5 or even into the second maybe. So Aguilar versus Mendonça, very questionable judging here again. Aguilar got it done technically by split, but a little dicey. I'm going to tell you that. Barcelos won against Quinones. Amazing performance from Barcelos. Hurt his shoulder, toughed it out, got a rear naked choke in the third round. He's a G, dude. He is a G. Torres is a bad man, winning by submission against Chris Duncan. Didn't see a rear naked choke submission the way he got it. I thought it was going to be a knockout. He did crack Duncan once. Duncan cracked him once. And then Torres was like, let's just go for it. But Duncan did shoot for those takedowns. So I don't blame Torres going for the grappling there at all. Yasmin looked great in all 3 rounds. Got it done 30-27. Nothing else really to say. She should have won this fight, and she did clearly. Zellhuber versus Prado, my fight of the night. Prado is a monster. He is a tough as nails, Drew Dober-like fighter, but Zellhuber is amazing, and his length and height is going to give a lot of people problems in this lightweight division. Loved his striking, and he's going to. I think both guys are super young, and I think they both have a pretty good career ahead of them. So I'm looking forward to both these guys fighting. Interesting fight here for many different reasons. Ortega got the submission in round 3 against Yair. Yair basically almost had him out of there in the first round. I probably would have gave it a 10-8. That's how close it was. But Ortega looked like he hurt himself jumping up and down while getting his name called. Toughed it out, I guess, and started taking down Yair, who has 0 get-up game now, I guess, all of a sudden, has 0 takedown defense all of a sudden, and he looked awful after the first round. So good win from Ortega, I will say. I was very high on Yair to win, but I will tell you this. I will not be picking Yair unless he's fighting someone awful. Worse than him, let's put it that way. Royval versus Brandon Moreno. Battle of the Brandons. Split decision. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I really thought Moreno won. Not a robbery. It was a very close fight. Moreno made it too close of a fight. I still think he's the better fighter, but Royval was just touching him up. and maybe that looked better with the judges. I thought Moreno was landing the better shots all fight, but Royval was pumping out that jab, any kicks to the body that he can do to win that fight. So very close fight. It could have won either way. It went Royval's way this time. I just thought Moreno won rounds 1, 2, and 5. So that's just me. Could have went either way, but for sure I thought Moreno won rounds 1 and 5. But one of the judges gave Royval round 1, so that screwed up the scorecard for Moreno, and this is where we're at, Royval by split. So that was the night. Craziness. Let's go over the bets that I had. For my picks, I went 10-2. I only lost on I'm drawing a blank. The last 2 fights, Yair and Moreno. I won the first 10 fights in a row, and then I lost the last 2. Bets, like I said, I went 5-2 on my bets. I had 7, won 5. I had Torres money line, Rodriguez money line. I had Yair in a parlay with Dos Santos. Let's be real, that probably shouldn't even have mattered to that point because Dos Santos probably lost that fight. I had Nemov and Moreno, again, close one. And then I hit all my time prop parlays. I had the under 1.5, over 1.5, all the time prop parlays I do. Like I said, with my Patreon, I do all the time prop sheets for everybody, and I literally use that to make these time prop bets. So if you like betting those, like that's gonna worth your money right there. $5.99 a month. You can get all of them, and I don't want to toot my own horn. I usually hit on most of these time props, more so than picking a side on the money line. So I know for the time props that I like to do that have 3 legs, I always post them on Twitter at the end of the week. And so far this year, we're 5-1 on those. So there you go. You can get those early if you jump in the Patreon and become a core member. All righty, let's go to the fights here. Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. 11 fights, if I'm not mistaken, but they are adding Rosas Jr. versus Turcios, which should have happened last night. So it might be 12 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, still 11. So we'll do 11 fights here. We got Christian Leroy Duncan versus Claudio Ribeiro. And let me get my notes up here. So Duncan, well-rounded fighter. He's got solid striking. He's got decent power. He's pretty long, 79 inches. But, I mean, Ribeiro has a pretty good reach, too. Little unorthodox with his striking. Lots of kicks, lots of spinning stuff. He can be hittable at times as well. He can wrestle if need be, but he's mainly a striker. And Ribeiro is also a powerful striker himself. He likes to push forward. He's not the most technical. Can be a little bit wild. Also can be hittable, too. He also has some wrestling he can use, too. But he's mainly going to try to keep it on the feet and bang it out here. But interesting fight. I just favor Christian Duncan here a little bit more than Ribeiro. I see a little bit more holes in Ribeiro's game, but he does make up for it with his power. I think Duncan has the more technical striking. I think he is durable as well. May even have the better cardio as well. So if this fight does go longer than a round and a half, I do favor Duncan. So give me Duncan to win. I'll say late second or third round knockout. I think it does finish. Like I said, Ribeiro's cardio does tend to fade him a bit. And I think Duncan gets it done. Let's say second round knockout. Next one here we got is I always say this name wrong. Radzhabov versus Al-Selwady. Let's see. So Radzhabov, very good wrestler. He's got very good takedowns. He basically shoots for takedowns whenever he can. Striking is just okay. He does have power in his hands if he lands. We've seen him kind of slow down as the fight goes on as well in a couple of his last fights, especially against Ribeiro and Esteban. But Selwady, though, making his UFC debut, he's a good striker with power. He likes to push forward. He could be a little hittable, too. Takedown defense is just okay. He can mix in some wrestling here and there, but some of the fights that I've seen, he hasn't really fought wrestlers, if you want to say. So this is going to be probably the best wrestler he's probably fought, at least with the fights that I've seen. And I'm going to take a shot on the dog here. So I'm going to go with Radzhabov to win. I'm going to say this does go to decision. Both guys are pretty tough. I know Radzhabov was knocked out against Ribeiro, but Ribeiro has crazy power. And not to say that Al-Selwady doesn't, but I think this is going to be a different game here. And I think Radzhabov should be able to get those takedowns as well and just win the minutes here. And if he can't get the takedowns, though, probably Al-Selwady's going to win. So give me Radzhabov to win. And like I said, I'll do a greasy decision. It's going to be close, probably 29-28, or maybe even split. Next one's going to be the good Basharat versus Ayman. No, they're both good. I'm joking. Versus Ayman Zahabi. Basharat, though, he's super well-rounded, very good grappling, good wrestling and takedowns, solid striking, good cardio, always pushes forward. He's durable. The only little knock on him, though, maybe is he's just not really the greatest of finishers. But if you're looking at least in the UFC, he's got all of his wins in the UFC have come by decision, and it was the unfortunate groin kick to Henry in that last fight there. But Zahabi, though, he's also well-rounded, good striking and grappling himself. He stays on the feet more so than grappling. Getting a little up there in age at 36. His takedown defense is pretty good, but yeah, you got to go with Basharat here. The younger guy, I think he's the more polished guy. He's the more well-rounded guy. He's just better everywhere, and I think this fight goes to decision again. Maybe a late finish, but Zahabi's pretty tough. I don't think he's been KO'd once, and that was to Ricardo Ramos. So totally get it. And that was one of those Ramos's spinning elbows, which he has, which is crazy. But Basharat, like I said, I just don't see a finish here. So maybe like a round 3 decision prop just to be safe. But Basharat by decision is my pick. Pretty confident. I know the line's pretty crazy. It's probably like minus 450. I get it. But if you want to cut that down a little bit, look for the round 3 decision, or maybe just even decision prop or the overs. Next one is going to be Vinicius Oliveira versus Ghemmouri. What the heck is that thing here? Hold up. There we go. Let's get to here. So Oliveira, he's making his UFC debut. He's a very dangerous striker. He's not the most technical, but he throws a ton of crazy stuff like spinning kicks, elbows, mixes it up a ton. He throws a ton of volume as well. Good cardio. He's durable. He has been KO'd, I believe, in all 3 of his losses, even though I just said he's durable. But he is pretty durable. But that's why I said sometimes he's hittable, which can make him get rocked at times. But luckily for him, he doesn't really have to worry too much about getting KO'd, I think, in this fight, because Ghemmouri, though, oh man, I lost my train of thought here. Ghemmouri, though, he's a good technical striker, good kicks. He can use some takedowns here and there, but he's mostly going to be a strike. He's not the most dangerous guy. That's why I was going to say he doesn't really have to worry about maybe getting hit too much, Vinicius. But Giannis also has good cardio. He's durable too. So I'm got to go with Oliveira here. He's probably going to throw more volume. He's probably going to land more. He'll probably land the harder shots. The only way I see Ghemmouri winning this fight is if he counters very well and maybe he drops Oliveira once or twice. But other than that, I think Oliveira should win this fight. I think he's the more dangerous guy. I think he's the more dangerous striker. And if this fight does get on the mat, I also think he's the more dangerous grappler. But give me Oliveira all day. I like it. I know he's making his UFC debut, but I think he's very, very good. And not to say Ghemmouri's not, but I just don't think he's dangerous enough to get this one done. So he's more so decision dependent on winning this fight. So got to go with the guy who can win by knockout, submission, or maybe even decision. Fight of the night for everybody. Eric Anders versus Jamie the Nightwolf Pickett. So we all know who both these guys are. Anders, he's a well-rounded fighter. Okay striking and good wrestling, good takedowns. He does have power in his hands. He can be a little hittable at times and sort of slow down as fight goes on, like after a round and a half, in the 3rd round. But he's aggressive early. He's dangerous early. And he can be a little wild on the feet sometimes if he gets a little too crazy. But Pickett, okay striker, if you want to say. He does have some power in his hands. He's low volume. He can wrestle. Not the greatest takedowns, though. He does have pretty good takedown defense. I will give him that. And his submission defense isn't all that great if he does get taken down. Got to go with Anders here. I can't pick Jimmy Pickett. I don't think he's UFC caliber. Not to say that Anders is either, but if we're going to go with who is the better fighter here, you're going to pick Anders. I just think he gets this one done. I will say by decision, because Jamie Pickett is pretty durable unless he's fighting a pretty good grappler. Bo Nickel, I mean, that was a little questionable, but he did get submitted. He lost to Tululian. That was a little weird. And then Kyle Dawkins is a really good grappler. So Anders, like I said, I think this one will go to decision, and I think Anders should win this fight. Wouldn't be shocked though if Anders gets a finish in the first or second round early, but I'm going to trust in Pickett's durability. Let's put it that way. Which that's the only thing I will trust in Jamie Pickett. So give me Anders all day though. All right, this is already the main card. It's crazy. We broke this down literally last week. So Rosas Jr. versus Turcios. So if nobody knows, this was supposed to happen at UFC Mexico, and right before they walked out, I guess Rosas Jr. Said he couldn't fight because he was ill. Not sure what the real reason was or what the illness was, but they quickly moved this to this fight card. And my conspiracy theory is this card needed one more fight, and it wasn't that great. So they added this real quick. But conspiracy theory, that's just me. But I'll break this down one more time for everybody. Amazing grappler Rosas pushes forward, good wrestling and takedowns early. Striking is still a work in progress, but it is slowly improving. He's very young. He's 19 years old. He showed some rookie mistakes in this couple fights, but I'm just a little skeptical now with this illness. What kind of illness? I don't know what kind of illness it is. So Turcios is pretty good striking. He throws a ton of volume, even though if he does hit a lot of air, he's throwing it. Pretty good grappler too. Not really much of a wrestler, and takedown defense isn't all that great. But like I said, if he does get taken down, he's got solid grappling and a good get up game, good submission defense, and he can take the back pretty well as well because he does have good submission offense too, though. I'm gonna stick with my initial pick here with Rosas Jr. I think he gets this one done. Is it a little bit dicier now? Yes, but I don't know. To me, I think Rosas Jr. is gonna be live early, and then Turcios is gonna be live late. So give me the guy who I think is a little bit more dangerous, and I do think it's Rosas Jr. And I'll just say he gets the first round finish, whether it's knockout or submission. If he doesn't, it's going to be dicey for him, though. Next one's going to be Umar Nurmagomedov versus Bekzat Almakhan. Dang, couldn't say that for whatever reason. Nurmagomedov, though, we all know who he is. He is super well-rounded. He's got great striking, very good wrestling and takedowns and grappling. He's dangerous everywhere. He can knock you out. He can submit you. He's durable, good cardio, and yeah, he's the real deal, and he's probably going to be a champion one of these days. But Almakhan, UFC debut, he's making it this time. He's well-rounded himself, technical striking. He's got good cardio. He's got solid takedowns if he wants to take the fight to the mat. Takedown defense, though, may be tested here, and I do think Umar is going to be shooting for some takedowns because Bekzat is a pretty good striker himself, and maybe he'll want to test out the striking early, but I think if I was Umar, I would make sure to test out that wrestling and grappling of Bekzat. So no shocker here. I'm going to go with Nurmagomedov, but I'm not going to be betting him. If I do bet him, I will look to maybe doing like third round decision because I do think Bekzat's pretty durable. And I think he can hang in there. He's got a lot of finishes in his record. But Umar is a beast, though. I mean, he can get a first round submission or a second round finish, whatever you want to say. But I'll be looking at some props and see if anything jumps out because I can't jump on this minus 900 money line here. Next one's going to be Matt Schnell versus Steve Erceg. And Matt Schnell, well-rounded guy, good striking with power, solid grappling. The problem with him, always will be, probably is his chin. But he's a dog. In his last fight, where he got dropped against Sumadarji 3 times, he ended up getting the submission win himself, and he recovered well. But in the fight against Mateus Nicolau, he did not recover well, and he got dropped and knocked out. So I don't trust that chin. Let's put it that way. Erceg, very good grappler himself. He's got very good submissions, solid takedowns and wrestling. His striking is pretty good. Not the greatest, but he does have some power. Always pushes forward with good cardio, and he's durable. He can take a shot, and he took a couple good shots from Costa in that fight too, but he did win that fight. I thought it was very close, but he did win. Got to go Erceg here. Pretty confident he gets this one done. Like I said, I just trust the chin of Erceg more, and I wouldn't be shocked if Schnell lands a couple good shots, but I see Erceg winning this one, whether it's going to be on the feet, just pushing the pace, and eventually landing a shot that's going to rock Schnell, or Erceg gets the grappling going and wins it by decision. So give me Erceg to win. I think he can win all three ways, and I think Schnell is basically I don't know. I don't think he's going to be able to win this fight, to be honest. I can't see really a path for him unless he can get maybe a club and sub, something sneaky like that. But that's about all I got. Give me Erceg to win. I'll say second round knockout. Let's do it. Let's get crazy. Next one's going to be Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. So we haven't seen Alex Perez in a while because he keeps canceling fights. He can't make weight, all that good stuff. But Perez is a solid striker. He's got good wrestling, good takedowns. Doesn't have the greatest submission defense. He's been submitted a pretty decent amount of times in his career, 5 times in his career. And he hasn't fought in a while. Last time he fought was against Pantoja, and that ended very quickly, and that was a year and a half ago. And then he lost to Figgy by submission as well, and that was 3 years ago. So he's fighting once every year and a half with multiple weight misses and cancellations. So this guy is very inactive. He's 31 years old, which shocks me because I thought he was older than that. But Mokaev, we all know who he is as well. Very good wrestler with good takedowns, a good chain wrestler, good cardio. He's durable. Grappling is very good with submissions. He has very good sweeps if he does get taken down or if someone's on top of him. His striking is pretty good. It is improving. He can be explosive on the feet with those knees and elbows, but usually his bread and butter, and he always goes to it, is going to be the wrestling and grappling. So to me, I think this is Mokaev's fight all day, and I'm not saying Mokaev is the greatest, and there are holes in his game, and I know a lot of people are waiting to fade him, and he made some of these fights that he won a lot closer, like the Elliott fight was close until he got the submission. The Fiallo fight was close until he got the submission. The Gordon fight was close until he got a submission. And so honestly, I just don't think Perez has that grappling to match Mokaev. A lot of these guys did have the grappling to match him, but as you saw, he got the submission in all of those fights. On the feet, it could be a little bit close, but I just think Mokaev's going to be chain wrestling Perez, and Perez is going to get taken down, and I think the grappling is going to happen. I think Mokaev's going to get a submission at one point. So give me Mokaev to win by submission. I'll be looking at that prop. I don't mind his money line at all. I don't know why it's that low, I'll be honest. I thought it's going to be at like 350 or higher, and I think he gets it done. Co-main, we got Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. And let's see. Petrino, very powerful striker. Good takedowns. Showed off some of his grappling as of late when he got the submission win against Prachnio. And he looked great against Bukaskis. And he got that knockout there. He's durable. His cardio is pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing for the size of him. He does slow down a little bit with his volume and activity, but like I said, he's not going to death gas or anything. The Turcios fight, you can go watch that fight. He showed very good. He made some mistakes, I'll be honest, but he did show good cardio and durability in that fight. Pedro, though, solid grappler, very powerful striker, likes to push forward. He's shown in a few of his fights, he does slow down as the fight goes on, like over 1.5 rounds or so. He did land a massive shot on Turcios and 5 months ago. So, but again, that was early, And but like I said, he's very explosive, very good leg kicks as well, very strong leg kicks. So this fight's gonna be crazy. I think this fight doesn't go the distance, but I'm gonna go with Petrino. I do favor him a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more dangerous too, but both guys are super dangerous. So this one is a little sketchy, especially at the odds are right now. But I'll be looking at maybe some unders here and see what happens with when they come out. But give me Petrino to win. I'll say by knockout, maybe second round knockout. I think the first round will be a little crazy, but I think Petrino catches him at one point. But I wouldn't be shocked if Pedro wins this fight, to be honest. I think this is a good step up for Petrino and a good fight for Pedro at both their careers at the moment. So this is gonna be a good fight. I'm a little torn on it, I'll be honest. So I'm not like super confident in Petrino though. Main event now, we got Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. Another fight that's it can go either way. I'll be honest before I even tell you these guys. Rozenstruik, though, powerful striker, little low volume at times. His takedown defense is just okay. He likes to wait for his shots and wait for the counter, but when he does throw, he's got power and speed for a heavyweight. And obviously, he can slow down as fight goes on. But that's most heavyweights for you. Gaziev, powerful striker as well. He's dangerous. He can wrestle if need be. He's durable. Pretty good cardio. A lot of his wins have come by knockout, though. But like I said, he's got a couple submissions on his record as well. But this is going to be an interesting fight. And both guys are explosive. Both guys have the power to knock each other out. But I do give Gaziev a slight wrestling and grappling edge if he uses it. So that little bit right there, and I know Rozenstruik has fought the better competition, but I'm gonna go with Gaziev. I just have a feeling he's gonna get this one done. I'll say by knockout, maybe ground and pound knockout, or maybe he'll catch Rozenstruik, maybe get a club and sub, but wouldn't be shocked again. I'm gonna look at the unders here, see what they look like when they come out. I don't think this fight's going to go over, let's say, 2 rounds. Let's put it that way. So the 1.5 might be a little dicey. So maybe 2.5 is a better bet because I don't think these guys will go. And honestly, as the fight goes on, I do favor Rozenstruik, but that's going to have to be after 2 rounds because I think Gaziev has good enough cardio for at least 2 rounds and he's still going to be dangerous. So give me Gaziev to win. I'll say by finish. It's another close one, and the line is pretty decent if you want to back either side. So don't blame me for whichever one you like here. But all right, guys, that's UFC Vegas 87. It's like I said, it doesn't look like the greatest on paper. It does have some good name value, but I mean, most of these fights are just okay if you want to say it. I mean, that's just me. Maybe other people think differently, but I don't know. This one was a hard one for me. A lot of these picks, it could go either way. I do have like a handful of guys I like. So again, thank you everybody for watching. Please hit the like button on your way out and subscribe. Leave some comments. It helps the algorithm out for YouTube, all that stuff. Wednesday night, defend your units. Me and Cody from Blood Money MMA Bets will have our show 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Also Friday, we'll have a couple guest cappers on as well for our Friday night lives. Definitely check us out then. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Till next time, see you Wednesday night. Happy fight night.